early evidence indicates that clients who receive bundled services are 3 to 4 times more likely to achieve a major economic outcome, such as staying employed, earning a vocational certification or associate's degree, or buying a car, than clients receiving only one type of service. This bundling of services is one of the key strengths provided to CAAs by the CSBG funding system. So it keeps saying bundling of services, but it's also important to know that services are delivered in a comprehensive way, not just bundled. You don't just throw everything at them that you have available. Not only will they not qualify for everything, but they don't need everything. Okay, so that's all. What I have for you. Yay. You want to read the key points? Key points. Okay, the logic model is our most important tool for agency and program accountability. The logic model is being used by many federal, state, and local funding sources as a condition for funding. The logic model can be used to support planning, monitoring, evaluation, and other management functions of CAA. The logic model links program operations, columns 1 through 5 of the logic model, actual outcomes. Aggregating data in the logic model will provide a means to establish realistic targets and performance measures. The logic model can serve as an exclusive summary of a program or service. A CAA developing a catalog of logic models has a useful marketing and accountability tool for their board, members of the community, and elected officials and funders. Using technology, the data generated by the logic model can be collected and analyzed easily. And the e-logic model is an electronic or software-driven adaptation of logic model. All right.
Thank you. I feel better about this one
now that we're at the end and we've completed all modules for the Roma presentation, we're going to go by closing. And we just have 2 objectives in this closing. One is to recognize that there's a need to devise a plan to help the agency, the state system, and CSBG networks implement Roma. So we have a need to try to implement this Roma. And we're going to go over the 10 questions that we gave you when you first came in this morning. We're going to go over those 10 questions. Implementing the Roma cycle, just some things to consider. We need to gain commitment of all stakeholders, including the board, executive directors, management, staff, for the full implementation of Roma. We need to work with other networks, other partners, other agencies, United Way, faith-based groups, human services, to share the principles and practices of Roma. We need to develop an internal quality assurance process to support your agency's accountability. So we need to have an internal process to show that we can be accountable for what we're trying to produce. Work towards implementing a common client identifier and common client intake system. We have an intake system, we use it in FaxPro. Head Start uses Child Plus.
We have gifts.
Yep. Say that again?
Gifts.
Gifts, okay. We need to integrate Roma concepts and language in our agency's planning, evaluation, and reporting processes. We need to integrate it in human resources, physical policies, and procedures. There are also some next steps for community action agencies and CSBG eligible entitled. The needs are to recognize the nature of Roma processes and how it affects the aspects of management for the community action agency and future funding and relationships to those funders. We also need to recognize the focus is on outcomes and performance in addition to activities and outputs. We need to identify and collect appropriate relevant needs and assessments to outcome data, recognize the need to gather and report on different data sets for various funders, and we need to train the staff and board in Roma practices. So everyone needs to be trained on what we do in Roma and how it's implemented, because the more we know, the more we can do. The next one is reinventing organization. It's just 7. What gets measured gets done. If you do not measure results, you cannot tell success from failure. If you cannot see success, you cannot reward it. If you cannot reward success, you're probably rewarding failure. If you cannot see success, you cannot learn from it. If you cannot recognize failure, you cannot correct it. And lastly, if you cannot demonstrate results, you can win public support. If you can demonstrate results, you can win public support. Sorry. Now, the 10 questions that we gave out earlier this morning, if you had them real nosy, the answers in the back of the book on the last page.
Those are different questions,
Are they different questions? Okay.
Okay, that's updated.
It's the updated version.
They are different questions.
Yeah. You want to go? You can go.
Yeah, evaluation of the question.
You can go. I'll read them.
Okay.
I'll read them.
Oh, which ones are they on?
You can go. You can go. That was last
Happy.
Joy.
one. Always.
Okay. All right, Stephanie, can you read question 1? I'll find them.
Agencies determine what service they will provide by identifying what resources are available to support services.
These true or false, right?
Yeah.
Was that true or false?
False.
took false too, but I didn't think that was the only way.
Did anyone say true?
I did.
Okay, why would you say true? Or do you know different now since we've gone through everything?
Yes. Well, they have to know what is needed to have a service. There's different too.
Wrong ones.
That should be the most up-to-date one. What's this?
A couple of the questions are
Oh,
the
yeah,
same,
it's the
they're
same
different numbers, but some of the questions are entirely different.
Okay, well, read the second one. You can read.
Read the second.
Someone read the second question.
When identifying community needs, agencies should rely only on the expert opinions of their staff and not seek input from peers who are providing human resource services in other settings, as they may not understand the needs of the poor, and I put false.
I feel passionate about that one. Okay, anyone say true for that one? Okay, what's the third one? Miss Amy.
CAA should rely most heavily on information they get from those individuals who receive service, as they are the ones who know what is needed.
Okay, true or false?
I think false.
Anyone say true for that one?
I did.
Okay, why would you say true? Or has your opinion changed since we've gone through everything today?
No, I think that, I don't, the most heavily bothers me, but they definitely need to rely on information they get from individuals who receive services.
The first step is to establish the need, right?
Right, what the customers actually say that they need,
Mm-hmm.
what the need in the community is. So the needs assessment will give us priority to prioritize, but it give us the need that the community say is most important.
So is that true or
It's true.
false? That is true.
True.
Okay, what's the next one? Was that 4?
That was 3.
Okay, number 4. Tiffany.
Analysis of the results that an agency documented in 1 year can provide trend data to help decide what services and activities are needed in the next year. True?
False.
Okay, why you say false?
1 year.
Yeah.
Because it says 1 year specific.
Mm-hmm.
So how many years?
It's false.
How many years?
Oh, well, that's not
A set?
A
A
set.
year is not enough.
For a trend.
for a trend.
Mm.
Oh, I thought you were pulling something out. Okay, number 5, Ms. Harris.
Community action agencies most effectively evaluate their results by focusing on the activities supported exclusively by the Community Service Block Grant. And I put true.
Okay,
I put false.
False.
I didn't hear all that one. I remember these. I was trying to remember. Which one was that?
The CSVG, saying that the CAAs most effectively evaluate by focusing on them.
Exclusively.
Exclusive.
The word is
False.
exclusively
It's
by
false. It's false.
CSBG.
Okay. Does that make sense? Why they're saying false?
Exclusive.
Oh, you're
that means-
asking me.
Right, because you disagreed with it. So
Well, I mean, we're talking about Roma, so
Yeah, but Roma puts the obligation on the CAA to also utilize other funding sources and partners. And this says exclusively.
That's the only reason that I would agree, is
Exclusively
because of the
Yeah.
word exclusively.
Anybody else didn't like true and false on tests, standardized tests? Will always be that one thing you weren't sure.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, well, okay, what's the next one? 7?
6.
6. Okay, Stephanie.
In addition to finding out what is needed in the community, the agency must find out what resources are available. I said true.
That's true.
Okay, anyone disagree with that? Okay, next number.
7, if another agency is providing a similar service to one provided by a CAA, the CAA should discontinue providing the service to avoid duplication, and I put false.
That's
Okay.
right.
Anyone think
right.
that's true?
But false, but, you know, we were talking earlier about
Yeah.
maybe not doing that,
Mhm.
collaborating more and doing more partnership.
Yeah.
That
Right, we
should
wouldn't
rather-
discontinue our services.
Right.
Right.
Because likely there was a need and we're
There
addressing
may
that
be
need.
need for an
Right.
expanded
Right.
service.
I did put false, but now I'm thinking.
And if we partner with another agency, like I was saying before with that program, we're not doing the same thing at the same time in the same time period.
Right.
So we
Right.
won't be overlapping those
Right.
services. Okay, what's the next one?
8.
8.
The needs assessment process should be the responsibility of upper management and the agency's grant writers. Where's Lois?
Okay, what'd you say for that one?
I put true.
Okay, anyone think that's false?
I do think it's false.
Okay, why is it false?
I think it's false because the upper management agency's grant writers may not have any information they need to go to people receiving, to do a community assessment as opposed to them.
Okay, we have to include more. It's
That's
not
right.
just upper management,
Right.
not just those.
Remember when they said while we're playing, who all you get together to play, and some people know more about what's going on than just the grant writers. So when you got to playing, then the grant writers say, oh, you got this figure, so we'll write the grant for this.
Oh, I thought it meant the responsibility to make sure it gets done and
Yeah,
completed.
that's what I
That's
thought
what
too.
No, this is
Collaboration.
about the
Right.
process.
Kind of like everyone who's in this room representing different areas. You're not all upper management,
Right.
but you've been able to get together and maybe upper management heard something they didn't realize was a problem or an issue from someone who does intake.
Right.
And the reverse. Okay, the next one.
Number 9.
That was 10. Okay, number 9.
Identifying community resources could lead to new and or expanded partnerships for the CAA, and I put true.
Okay, anyone disagree with that?
That's
Or did and changed their mind? Okay, number 10. Yeah, say 10.
When assessing a community, board members should have input as they represent 3 parts of the community and so have a unique collective view of the community.
Is that true or false?
True.
That's true.
Okay, anybody disagree with that? Okay, we do have evaluations we will pass out. So just one more test.
I thought we said no test.
But we really do appreciate everyone for being
Okay, she has hers. Thank you.
There's a whole bunch of comments on that other
Okay.
page.
Okay. You don't have to be gentle, be honest. Or gentle, gently honest.
But it's just suggestions.
Yes, ma'am. But thank you all for participating today, giving us
Thank
your
you all, I
time.
know that was huge.
I really enjoyed this group.
It's not a timid bunch.
Not at all. I felt at home today. Feels about as humid as I feel.
Good.
Yes, the weather.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See, it's more humid here because we don't have the breeze that Mobile has. I'm convinced Tuscaloosa's the hottest place in the state.
What breeze is that?
Thought it was the hottest place in the world.
Or that.
I haven't met that breeze.
So we are in line with the rest of the organization.
All right, everyone. The second part of Module 7 is using logic models for assessing client outcomes and program effectiveness. So we're moving from learning how to format the logic model to the content of the logic model, like what is it saying to us and how is that information captured. This is on your page 103, I believe. Check it, be sure. 104. It's just low up here so I can see this a lot
I
better.
appreciate that. A lot.
Okay.
Because I have to have
You can see it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can see this.
Well, everyone can. You can see the results right now. I'm going to keep those so we'll discuss the results last. But just taking a few of the columns, can you identify what level need this is? You see where that's marked on the, which is it family, agency, or community level need?
Family.
Okay. mission statement: to ensure that all families have access to safe, clean shelter. There is not a proxy outcome for this one. Let's see. Families are at risk of being evicted. Let's see, in column 2, let's see, 1 month emergency rent payment will be issued for 150 families. Some of the accountability measures, client reports, housing activity logs showing payments, data entered by CAA case manager, weekly reports generated to department head each Monday, daily electronic report email to CAA at daily, what's going on with my eyes? At daily close of business. Okay, with the one that's in front of you. Okay, you see how to read it better. You know, formatting wise, where everything goes. So you know what goes in column 1, column 2, where the mission goes. How do you select which one? And you see where it says emergency housing. You know how to identify the program. But we need to better understand the content that's in there. One important note that we want to show is, I see that there are at least 2 different instances where they followed up with this family, because we see at least two different things identified. I'm going to take the results off. Could someone read that middle section? It seems like a lot of good information.
The 142.
Right.
Or the 203 families.
I love it. You just use it out.
203 families actually received housing assistance from July 1st, 2007 to June 30th, 2008.
These are actual results.
142 of 155, or 92% of families, remain in their own residence for 30 days. 85% of the families remain in their own residence for 60 days, and 90 of 155, or 58%, remain in their own residence for 90 days. And then there's that second.
Right, that bottom section. Just, I wanted to point that out because the importance of this is follow-up. The major important thing with this logic monitoring, what was identified on the emergency housing, was they followed up with these families. Not only did they follow up, they took the follow-up information and they got meaning from it to see was the program effective. They know the long range of the program, 30 days, 90 days, and 60 days. Okay, you can turn over to page 105. Okay, Tiffany, could you read that top shaded area? Page 105.
The Community Action Agency used the logic model to document the emergency housing program results and to monitor performance. Collecting and analyzing follow-up outcomes/performance data revealed the limits of the intervention and suggested that other factors may be adversely affecting families in the community.
Okay, thank you. These outcomes are characterized with the added dimension of time represented by short, immediate, and long term. So that's change over time. And we can go to page 109. There's some more examples in there. Setting targets. We have to discuss the need for creating projections, targets, and review establishment. The general information from the setting targets is explaining how they came up with these numbers. I think that's really important that we can go back to what we have discussed before about realistic numbers. So I remember when she recapped on the outcome indicators, the 60%. After we learned about baseball, would we still have said 60%?
No.
Yeah.
Like everybody immediately would have changed that percentage. It's like, okay, maybe about 20%. Or maybe took that goal of 10 down half and readjusted it. So setting targets, realistic targets. Okay, we can go over to page 111. Introduction to the logic model. While the traditional logic model advances and clarifies thinking about needs, interventions, and outcomes as a paper tool, it is difficult to aggregate information across multiple logic models. It does not have the power or the electronic database. The e-logic model is an electronic or software-driven adaptation of the logic model and supports a database of information gathering about agency performance. Different models we can use. Okay, so an introduction to the e-logic model. Page 112. E-logic model includes a knowledge base organized into various domains. There's about 3 more in here. And they go into further detail about what the e-logic model is. See, what services produce outcomes? Over on page 115. When we have questions like what services produce outcomes, what do we think? Like, what do we think about that? What's the most effective combination of services? And this goes back to our thinking of doing less direct services, just that one thing, to a bundling of those services. What's the most effective way to assist that household? And we'll do one last silent read. You see that huge paragraph, that half-page paragraph there? Read to yourselves where it starts, a key aspect. Based on research, this is the conclusion,